Probably only the Egyptians had it right. Their kings had sisters for coins to continue the incest of childhood into marriage. I think that there is the subtext here that the speaker's marriage to his wife has failed. Why has it failed? Probably because the speaker and his wife came from two very different worlds. The speaker and his wife came from two very different universes. The poet says, probably only the Egyptians had it right. Their kings had sisters for coins. Instead of marrying somebody who shares nothing with you, almost nothing with you, genetically, culturally, in terms of religion, in terms of community, in terms of caste, socially, linguistically, perhaps it would be better to marry someone who shares a lot of things with you. And the Egyptians took it to the other extreme, making their kings marry their sisters. Usually, the sister and the brother were co-rulers, and they were also wife and husband. Thus, we have the instance of Cleopatra and Ptolemy, who were sister and brother, who were also wife and husband, and above all, who were co-rulers of Egypt. Probably only the Egyptians had it right. Their kings had sisters for coins to continue the incest of childhood into marriage. Incest. Incest is sexual relations between persons who are too closely related. I think that incest is a very subjective term. In ancient Egypt, sexual relations between brother and sister were not incest, were quite normal. In fact, in George Bernard Shaw's Caesar and Cleopatra, this fact is highlighted. And when Britannicus is shocked to hear that Cleopatra and Ptolemy are not only sister and brother but also wife and husband. Julius Caesar explains that every society has its own norms, and it would be unreasonable to expect that the norms of a particular society should be universal laws. That is what Britannicus seems to expect. I keep telling my students, the concept of incest is subjective. You cannot define incest without relating it to its social context. For example, among the Hindus, a man can marry his mother's brother's daughter or his father's sister's daughter. I can marry my mother's my mother's brother's daughter or my father's sister's daughter. But I cannot marry my mother's sister's daughter because she is my sister. Or my father's brother's daughter, she is also my sister. On the other hand, among some Muslim communities, especially in the Middle East, a man can marry his mother's sister's daughter, his father's brother's daughter. Quite acceptable. In some Hindu communities, a girl can marry her uncle, but in some Christian communities, it is incest. The point I'm trying to make is that incest can be defined, can be explained only with reference to the social context. To continue the incest of childhood into marriage, sometimes it happens that brothers and sisters are sexually attracted as children. sexually attracted to each other, and incest takes place. What does the poet say? To continue the incests of childhood into marriage. Finally, you allow the brother and the sister to marry each other. The incests are taken to their logical conclusion. Similarly, frequently cousins are attracted to each other. I think it's called GSA, genetic sexual attraction, where a child is sexually attracted to somebody who is related to the child. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that A.K. Ramanujan rejected his own Brahmin identity and married a girl who was from a very different world, who had very little in common with him, and probably he now feels that it was a mistake. And this subtext is presented in these lines where he speaks of Egyptian kings having sisters for coins. A.K. Ramanujan is certainly not the first poet, the first writer to speak of incest. Incest is an important thematic strand in literature, especially Western literature. And the theme of incest is explored in an extraordinary manner, in a remarkable manner, by Sophocles in the Athenian tragedy Oedipus Rex. And if I remember correctly, Oedipus Rex was performed for the first time in BC 429.